Nothing Will Ever Be Fine Again is a short horror anthology from David Royce, featuring 10 brief tales spanning the dark, weird, and fun. Royce brings his typical light and poppy voice to most of these tales, making a lot of them breeze by pretty quickly and easily. I tend to enjoy things when they're weird and irreverent, so a few standouts for me in this collection were Unraveled, probably my favorite, one of the shortest stories following a man who is a slave to routine, putting his whole life on hold when he finds a loose thread on his person. As well as Rodentia, where the narrator attempts to deal with a large rat in his apartment complex and ends up taking some questionable safety protocols following the death of a neighbor. Others I enjoyed were Death Whistle, which had a nice and sweet struggling family undertone to parts of it, Leap Day Massacre, which ups the gore and the fun, and Dead Man's Boots, a modern ghost story which I think is a great example of Royce's wheelhouse. Short fiction that gives vibes of an episode of Tales from the Crypt. That's what I was often reminded of while reading, and I'm a fan of that tone. Medium stakes with some personal touches. A couple stories in here didn't hit as well with me, but nothing was poorly executed. The opening story was tense, but it didn't pull me in like some of the others, and Under the Skin felt like it could have benefited from a little more charm or characterization. Both were fine though, and the collection itself is solid. One minor distraction for me was the amount of typographical errors and inconsistencies in grammar and format. I don't hold this stuff against writers too much, but a little polish can help quite a bit. It didn't affect my enjoyment of the content, but it did distract at times. Something I really like about some of Royce's work is that it gives someone like me a glimpse into a lifestyle I'd otherwise know nothing about. I enjoy when he writes about settings around his home in Cambodia, and I find myself very immersed in that world when a story talks about the weather or culture or even the nature of the structures around. Things have a feel that can be exotic or dangerous to a Westerner, and it gives some flavor to the writing. Nothing Will Ever Be Fine Again by David Royce is available now at droyce.gumroad.com in digital format. Pick it up if you want some Tales from the Crypt style spookiness this Halloween season. Also, be sure to check out youtube.com/@horrorreads for tons of wonderful indie horror book reviews. David does a lot of reviews, he's great for the community, puts out like 3 book reviews at a time in a video, gives great rundowns, great critique. This guy is a gem, so check out Nothing Will Ever Be Fine Again by David Royce. What do you think, Winston? Will anything be fine again?
Nothing Will Ever Be Fine Again by David Royce gets 5.5 leap days.